Hey guys, so I'm going to bring you here to one of my favorite spots in Walker. This is the Shingabee area. You guys probably all know the, let me adjust it here a little bright. You guys probably know the Shingabee Hill, and this hiking area, full of hiking trails right now, and in the wintertime, it is an awesome spot to go cross-country skiing. So for today's Devo, I'm going to take you guys out here on the trail with me, and let's go ahead and look at the Book of Acts. So when I think of amazing experiences in my life, the obvious ones come to mind. My wedding was an amazing day, getting married to my wife. It was just an amazing experience, changed my life forever. Having my kids, 4 kids, each and every one of them, a completely and utterly amazing experience that just changed my life forever. But when it comes to other things in life that are just amazing, most of my experiences that I can think of come from being in the great outdoors. I've done a lot of trips around the state. My family loves to camp, so we've hiked a lot of trails around Minnesota, seen a lot of state parks. We take students out to Colorado every other year in the summertime, and that trip always amazes me. Every time we go out into those mountains and we see that amazing stuff, I am completely amazed, just blown away, overwhelmed by the experience and the beauty that I'm able to experience. Being out here, though, at Shingabee is just an awesome place. It's a place that is so inspiring. Right now, it's fall. It's beautiful. The leaves are changing. Today is just a perfect fall day where it's warm but not too warm. The leaves are falling. The colors are beautiful. But in the wintertime, this place really changes a lot. It becomes a place that our family loves to cross-country ski. You don't just have the flat trails, you have the hills. Now, there's an amazing hill over here, and I showed it in the opening scene. But it used to be, this is a chalet right here, and this used to be like a toboggan spot, I think, and they also did some skiing on it. But this place is ridiculous. You can see this hill right here. Let me lighten this up. You can see this hill right here, and this hill is ridiculous. So I remember the first time we came on this place, we were going around on these little hills that were around here on the trails, and we came up to this hill, and we were told, this is the best hill, you got to give this a try. Now, downhill skis are a little bit wider, cross-country skis are a little bit narrower. It's a little bit more difficult to go down hills like this. But we got to the top, and this thing was terrifying. Going down this thing was terrifying. It was a crazy, awesome experience. Whew. This is a big hill. This is a really big hill. Oh. 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 That is a big hill. Woo. Oh, hold on just a second. All right, so that hill is awesome. I really remember coming down here for the first time. We saw that hill, hit the top. My wife and I looked at each other, we were like, what? And we were over here with some friends. It was actually with the Burns family. So Clay, you're in the house, and Levi. Clay gets up to the top. He just bombs the thing straight down. Just cruising, perfect form, tucked arms, knees are bent, just perfect. My son Levi jumps on, oh, if Clay can do it, I can do it. So he jumps on the top of that thing. Down he goes. Great form. Just nails it. Awesome. And then I get on there, right?
Got to copy the form, got to have the good look. I make it about halfway down. I'm starting to feel speed's picking up. The hill's not like a nice ski hill. It's got some kind of bends to it back and forth, right? And ground's uneven, so you're kind of going, you're feeling yourself drifting towards the woods. And finally it was like, you know what? I'm not gonna make this. I'm gonna go flying into a tree. I'm gonna go head first into the ground. And so I had to give myself up. Boom! Hit the ground, rolling, fumbling, face full of snow. Oh, it was an experience. Got down to the bottom, grabbed my skis, hiked my way back up to the top, give it a second try. Second time, got all the way to the bottom. Got to feel the rush of the wind, got to feel the speed, got to feel everything. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Let alone the trees, covered in snow, the beauty outside. It's just absolutely amazing. Here on this trail, this right here is one of my favorite spots. There's a bench right here that the camera's sitting on, and that view, man, that is just amazing. So in today's Devo, we're looking at Acts chapter 2. Last week, the disciples were having their last conversations with Jesus before he was taken up into heaven. He was going to be sending them the Holy Spirit. We talked about that last week. And here in chapter 2, we read about the encounter that the disciples and the followers of Jesus had with the Holy Spirit. They were gathered in a house. The Holy Spirit came down and filled their lives, and the room changed. They began to speak into tongues that were not of their own, saying things that were not in languages that any of them would even have ever known. The people who were watching around were just amazed, and they had questions about what they were experiencing. And Peter, who was the leading disciple, stood up before the crowd and gave a wonderful sermon explaining what had been done to Jesus and who he was and how they were to respond. The people had all kinds of ideas of what they thought Peter was talking about and who they thought Jesus was and what they had experienced, what they thought the meaning of all this was, positive and negative. But in the end, the passage tells us that the people's hearts were cut to the core, and they saw who Jesus was, they saw the power of the Holy Spirit, and their lives were never the same. So I got two things for our Devo today. The first, God is absolutely amazing. You see, God is the one who created everything. He is remarkable. If you experience anything amazing in this life, whether it's beautiful creation, whether it's a great friend, whether it's the best ice cream you've ever eaten in your life, anything like that, anything you experience in this world that's amazing is because of an amazing God. This amazing God comes and he transforms and he changes everything. You see, when we experience something amazing, we're never the same. Amazing experiences make us different people. They cause us to look at the world differently. They cause us to look at ourselves and our situations differently. And as amazing as any experience that you could have here on this earth is, nothing compares to how amazing God is. I could tell you story after story after story, starting in my own life, of amazing encounters people have had with God, and it has transformed them from the inside out, that they were never the same people again. People who were addicted, whose addictions went away and their lives were transformed. People who were angry and were bitter at the world, who became joyful and happy. People who are broken and sad and have no future in their life now have joy and happiness and purpose and a reason to be alive. But this amazing God doesn't just stop with being amazing. It doesn't just come from him, because the Holy Spirit in our story came down and came into the lives of people and transformed them and changed them. People who had questions were impacted by the Holy Spirit. They had to make a decision because they had experienced something amazing. And since they experienced something amazing, they had to do something with it. They either reject it or they accept it and they walk into it. So the second point in our Devo today is that the Lord cuts us and he changes us from the inside out. I know you're like me. and you've all got scars on your body that tell a story of when you were young and you wiped out and fell and crashed on your bike, a story when you fell out of that treehouse, a story when you were in that car accident, or a story when you were out playing with friends and got yourself cut or got yourself wounded. All these scars on us tell a story. They tell a story of who we were and who we are now. And these scars, they never leave us. And just like these believers experience in the book of Acts chapter 2, the Holy Spirit cut them. The Holy Spirit came in and invaded their life and did not give them an opportunity to be the same. They either had to reject this or they had to accept it and move forward. So I got this scar on the top of my head. When I was a kid, we were playing at a playground. We were climbing up this really tall slide, and I was getting too close to the person who was in front of me. As they were stepping up the slide stairs, their foot hit me, and I fell back. Well, below the slide, on the bottom of the steps, was a cement slab. Back first, head first, right into the slab, cracked my head open. I don't remember very much. I remember running to my parents and holding the back of my head and looking at my hand, blood everywhere. My parents called 911 and we got an ambulance to come and rushed me off to the hospital to get me stitches. I'll have that scar forever. I'll tell you what, I climbed slides differently after that. I also remember this really stupid one. It's an embarrassing story. So we're down in the Twin Cities, and we're making a stop on the way home. We stopped at a grocery store. We had to get some things for the kids. I don't remember which kid it was, but I was in the car with the kids, and one of them was throwing a fit. They were really, really young, maybe like 2 years old. I don't remember which one it was. But they were throwing a fit. They were crying while Sarah was in the store, and I was just getting so frustrated. It was raining outside. I was exhausted. We had had a long trip trying to go home. And I open up the door and I go back to help the child and to get them what they needed and put the pacifier back in or whatever it was. And in my frustration and my anger, I turn around and my head, I've got a spot, I don't know if you can see it, spot right up here. There's a scar on my forehead right here. I turn around really fast and the corner of the door just smacks right into my forehead and just cut me. And I'm just like in a daze. There's blood coming down my face. Child starts screaming again, so I go into the car, and of course we've got like Kleenexes or something to I'm putting on my eye to hold it and keep the blood from coming. And I think I found a Band-Aid in the glove compartment and put that on. My wife comes back out, child still screaming. I've got blood coming down my face. I've got this big cut on my forehead, and she's like, "What in the world happened to you?" I'll tell you what, I learned some patience that day. That's for sure. I learned some patience that day. You see, each of those stories for me, they stopped me right in my tracks. I wasn't going to be climbing that slide anymore after I fell. I wasn't going to be responding to anything else going on while my child was screaming after I hit my head on that door. You see, injuries like that, creating scars and cuts, they stop us in our tracks. They make us stop and they make us respond. And I tell you what, these believers and these people who were questioners of who Jesus was, when the Holy Spirit showed up, they had to stop. They had to respond to what was going on. They had to respond to the Holy Spirit and to Jesus. And once the Holy Spirit cut their hearts, their doubts, and their questions, they had to look straight into Jesus. They had to look straight at the Holy Spirit, and they had to make a decision. Am I in or am I out? And in this story, the people respond with a yes. Their hearts are cut open. They see their sin. They see their brokenness, and they see the awesomeness of who God is, how much He loved them, how much He cared for them, how much Jesus came with love to show love by dying on the cross for their sins, by rising from the grave and defeating death and giving them life and letting them be a part of His family. They were left with the scars of the Holy Spirit, and these were good scars. These were scars where they could tell of who they were and who they are now because of the love and the power of God. They went throughout the whole world. They told this good news, and town after town, family after family, person after person we will read about were changed, and were changed for the good. So some of you students have a story to tell, how you've experienced Jesus firsthand, and He's changed you, and you will never be the same. Some of you, though, have never experienced Jesus firsthand, or maybe you've experienced Jesus a little bit and you still have questions. Maybe you're leaning on the side of, I'm not buying this, or you haven't experienced enough for you to make a real decision.
I challenge you as you get into small groups tonight to go ahead and ask the questions. Go ahead and go through these discussion questions, and let's delve into who Jesus is and what it meant for these people, how it radically changed their life, and what that means for you. So think of an amazing story to share with your small group tonight. And let's dive in to what it means in our lives for Jesus to come in and radically change us from the inside out. Have a great night, guys. We'll see you later. I've walked by this spot twice now. And it just stinks. I mean, someone must have been out here with their dog and just like let them like drop something. I've checked my shoes, they're clean. Like, oh my goodness. That must have been a really, really big dog. Ugh. I almost taste it. Ugh. All right. Have fun in small groups.